Hey, you guys, my name is Rodriguez Davis. I want to talk to you guys about the history of DC Comics. It hangs true to me. I've been reading these comics since I was young, and I would like to inform you guys about how influential it has been in American lives and also in my life throughout history. And it's a long history, and I would like to share this with you guys. First and foremost, I would like to talk about one of the first superheroes, which is Superman. Superman was basically the first publicized superhero that was ever created. And he was created by Joe Siegel and Joe Shuster. Those two guys were the very influential in the DC comic book world and the world comic book world in general. But as they first created that character, they were under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of litigations because when they first created that character, they sold it not knowing that how influential it would be and how much money they would gain from it. And once they sold it, they were put out of a lot of comic book places and held down so they wouldn't be able to put back into that stature. And also, they tried to create another character that people may know, which is Superboy. They ran the pitch to him, and when they ran that pitch to him, they were denied that character. But once those two guys left, they left to go fight in World War II to be exact. And once they left, the creators of National Allied Comics, which was DC before most people know of now, they published the Superboy character without their consent. And throughout history, they've been fighting litigation after litigation, and they finally won the case in the '70s, around the '80s, and kind of ended in a good note before they passed. Just like a lot of characters in DC, they have a lot of different co-creators and creators, and it's a lot of crazy in those. Now I want to try to take a scratch out, like I was saying, when he went to World War II, going down history lane, memory lane. There was a lot of comics books during that time that helped people cope with the Great Depression because a lot of people weren't, I can say, happy during that time. Because I guess you can figure that from the name Great Depression. And a lot of these comics help people to feel a little better about the situation that they were in at that point in time. In comics like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman brought empowerment to the people. And people felt that they needed an outlet, and that was a great outlet. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and even Marvel, of a side topic. And they created comics that fought enemies such as the Nazis and Adolf Hitler, and it helped people cope to see that there was a better life, and it helped them use their imagination to get away from the things that were going on in their household or in their world right then. And Aaron Clancy, a curator from Skirball, says in the 1930s, the American dream had become a nightmare. And I think comic books and superheroes in particular provided an escapist form of entertainment that allowed the American public to go into a fantasy world where all the ills of the world were righted by these larger than life heroes. So people needed that outlet so that they can feel a little better. And which is what we can do today also. We need an outlet to help us do better, feel better, and that's everyone needs that outlet. And also, I like to talk about another thing throughout history that they did. During back in the '70s, '60s, there was a Batman issue that pushed the issue of gay and homosexuality, which was great because at that time people were always, against that, like it is today. And as they did that, it brought awareness to that everyone's different and everyone's not going to be the same. And it helped to bring awareness and show people that, hey, this is good. This is a good thing. People being more open and being honest with themselves, and they can help the world be more, how can I say, respectful of their decisions and appreciate that they're themselves and not trying to be something that they're not. And that's another way that throughout history, these comics have helped change and mold the America that we know it today. And also, I like to talk about how they have now and then been integrated into movies that have been a lot of influence. Like for instance, I've watched almost a lot of those movies and read a lot of those comic books, and they influenced me on how I should talk to people, how I should, how my morals should be, how I should always try to do the better and good. Not always trying to be selfish, but try to help someone else instead of trying to always help myself. And that's one thing I've always taken from these characters in these comic books, that there's always a greater good, and you should always try to be that greater good. And I have a lot of attire from Batman. This is my favorite character, and I also have comic books from Batman, and I read them constantly, and they also help me to get used to reading things of that nature. Because in today's time we don't read much as we do like we did in the past, and it's been kind of scary because all people do is sit on social media. And I think that if people pay more attention to the comic book, their comprehension skills will be better, and they can read a little more fluently and become a better, I guess, reader and speaker. And also, another topic that I like to talk about is Wonder Woman, which brought empowerment from women throughout the ages. As you know, there were Superman and Batman, but there wasn't any women superheroes from the beginning. And when people started noticing, they started creating the women's superheroes, and Wonder Woman was one of the first that brought empowerment to women throughout history. And as of today, there's one of the top grossing movies, women movies, was Wonder Woman, which shows that they put a great influence on women to feel empowered. And it's a great thing to have comic books show that everyone's different, and it can help show that anyone can do anything if you put your mind to it. And that's the history of DC. And thank you for listening. And I hope that this has informed you, and I hope that you will try to learn a little bit more about the history of DC. And thank you for listening.